Hey gamers, it's Ed Park, aka Taugrim. Today I review the awesome E50. It's the Tier 9 German medium tank in the E50M line. It's already my favorite tank in my garage and the tank that I have the most capacity to carry in. It features a super accurate gun that delivers a healthy 390 alpha damage and has great gun handling, and the armor is very functional. It gives some trollishly good bounces. The tank has a couple limitations to be mindful of. One is that the silver penetration is a bit low at 220, although I've noticed that the gun is so accurate that you can hit weak spots from range, so despite the low penetration, silver ammo still works. The second more important limitation is the lack of gun depression. So you can see as I come up over these slight inclines, my gun tends to aim pretty high. The gun depression is only 6 degrees, so you'll have trouble when cresting rises or slopes to get your gun down on the target. So therefore you have to be mindful of the terrain that you fight in. This tank thrives on flat land, and it also does well when you're in the valley aiming up at enemy tanks, since there are no issues with gun elevation. I spot a WT down here. The opposing side has a really good platoon consisting of 2 OTTER players who have account WN8s of over 2K, so they're excellent players, and they're platooned with a pretty good T54 driver. So check this out. I get this T69 with an ammo rack. His armor from the side is totally squishy, and then I track this AMX light tank in his rear drive wheel. See, look how accurate that gun is. I root the scout in place, and then a friendly burns him down. I just bounced a shot there from the WT. It looks like he's trying to hit me with heat, and that's what I meant earlier by the armor works. The WT has really high alpha of 750, so it's a good thing I bounced off that shot. And I'm being mindful because, like I said, this gun has poor gun depression, and because I know the WT right there, he just bounced another shot off of me, because I know he's trying to kill me. Very careful about not climbing too high. Right here you can see the issue with gun depression. As I was climbing up the slope, my gun was too high. In order to aim lower, I actually had to back up, and the whole process took me so long that I couldn't get a good shot off on that medium tank. So as much as possible, I'm trying to keep my gun active but without exposing myself. I know that WT's taken a couple shots at me, and we actually faced his OTTER platoon a few battles back, and they beat our team pretty soundly, by a score of 15-7. So I actually picked this side of the map. My guess was that they were going to make their push on this side, and I was right. 2 of the OTTER players are here. Their E75 is on the west side of the map, because there's some good spots there to brawl with the terrain. But this side of the map, in my opinion, offers more opportunities to flex and to creatively try to flank your opponents. And there is one really interesting thing I noticed on Reddit yesterday, a thread by a player saying, hey, how do you beat unicums on the other side, enemy unicums? And really, in a public match, the most important thing to do is to be mindful of where those unicums are and where they're going to play and flex. But usually people are unicum because they're hard to kill. So a lot of times the real danger isn't the unicum killing you, it's the unicum killing your friendly pubbies faster than you can kill their puppies. So what you'll notice is I don't waste too much time on the WT. Every time I put my gun over on him, he goes behind cover. He's a smart player, and for the most part that T54 hasn't really exposed his hull either. What I do instead is take opportunistic shots on the puppies whenever they overextend. So here's an example, and I'm about to do something you have to be really mindful of. So the T34 has 400 alpha, so about roughly the same as my 390 alpha. We trade shots there, but I do this because A, I have high HP, and 2, my reload is much faster than his. So I hit him there in the front drive wheel. I've delivered 2 shots to his 1, and then a friendly tank finishes him off. I make a mistake here. I'm aiming too much to the front of this IS-3, and he backs up. I should have been aiming more center mass, just to account for his movement so I don't end up bouncing on his armor. And I track him there and delivered over 400 damage. And he should already be dead. If I had landed both shots, which I really should have, he would have been finished off, but another friendly teammate gets him. So you can see that I've got the friendlies on the east side of this hill here, and we're firing on this Tiger 2, and I noticed, just out of habit after my first shot, I go ahead and tuck him behind hardcover, but his gun's not moving. So he's either AFK, disconnected, or raging at his other puppy teammates, but regardless, I go ahead and finish him off. And then I noticed the T54 driving away. He's doing something really smart here. He's driving away, but his turret is facing backwards toward me, and that offers him some pretty good protection, so I go ahead and pass on the shot. I hit the WT from range, and then that OTTER player responds by hitting me, nailing me for over 700 alpha with his with his gun. Really painful gun, and it's a good thing that I bounced some of the shots from him earlier. But that's what I meant by, the armor on this tank works. It is kind of like a pocket heavy in terms of, the thickness of the armor. It does have a really noticeable weak spot on the lower front glacis, but you can protect that by angling the tank or by, side scraping. You do have to be careful about, angling in the open or side scraping. You really don't want to expose your side more than 20 degrees. Probably 15-20 is about the right thing. So check this out. Right here before this T64E4 is shooting me, I noticed that I'm a little too angled, so I sharpen the angle and turn to the right, my hull a little bit, and then I bounce that shot off of my track. So, but the armor is thankfully, really functional in this tank, and it makes a big difference. So I end up getting a first class mastery badge. I don't get my ace tanker. This is one of those tanks where I think because the tank is so strong and has such good carrying capacity, I probably have to have an absolutely monster game to get my ace tanker. Even though I did 6,300 damage here, spotted some tanks, destroyed a few tanks, it wasn't enough. But this video really shows how strong the E50 is. The main thing is to be mindful of that gun depression and make sure that you play the terrain appropriately. Next up is either going to be another video on the E50 or after I unlock at the E50M. I'm about halfway through the grind, and I'm already predicting I'm going to love the tank since the E50 is just amazing. Hope you enjoyed the video.